They'll never let me do that.
Did you think you said that?
Yes, I did.
Oh, do we? Oh, they're not ready to.
There you go. There you go. All right. Now you can say that word again, Glenn. Say it again, Glenn. Loud, proud. Okay. Okay.
So this is my house in the south.
Oh,
This is
man.
Rebels.
It's your house.
Yeah, Rebels.
Oh, man. Look at that.
This is where my mom and dad used to sit right here.
This is in the city of what?
Vintage Bear, South Lebanon.
Oh, man. That's your home where you were born.
Yeah, my childhood home.
But all your family is out, right?
Yeah, they're all.
Somebody else lives there now?
No, nobody could live there. They gave notice for them to leave.
Okay.
Call to order the Committee on Economic Development. Madam Clerk, would you start us off with the roll call?
Commissioner Palomera has requested an excuse. Commissioner Baker McCormick,
Here.
Commissioner Peterson Mayberry,
I'm present. Thank you.
Commissioner Kenlock,
Present.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Here.
Commissioner Wilson, Chair Anderson.
Present.
You have a quorum present.
Thank you. Next item, I have no comments or remarks at this time.
Moving to C, approval of the March 24th, 2026 meeting minutes.
So moved.
It's been moved
Support.
and supported. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Seeing none, that item is approved. Next item,
D, unfinished business. There is none listed. Moving on to new business, item 1. Requesting commission approval of a professional services agreement with HRNA advisors to assist the county in facilitating and evaluating public-private partners and exploring innovative financing and delivery opportunities for transportation, infrastructure finance, and innovation act eligible projects through the U.S. Department of Transportation.
good morning. Please identify yourself for the record and then we'll get started.
Yes.
A presentation on it.
Yes. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Commission. Lucius Anthony, Assistant Director of Economic Vitality. Right. That's why I'm.
All right. Do you want to start us off on this number?
Yeah.
Number 1 on the agenda?
Yeah, I'll just give you a little background context.
Okay.
This is an agreement in reference to a grant we received from the Department of Transportation. This body approved last year. So this is we did go out, do a RFP, and HRNA advisors were the award. Ultimately, with the consultant, what we hope to do is what they would do is evaluate county-owned structures in the hopes of developing and identifying potential development partnerships, both at the private and public. Some of the outcomes, again, be able to identify opportunities, particularly underutilized or vacant properties that are owned by Wayne County. So again, we will go identify county-owned property and do an assessment, evaluate the zoning, the market value, redevelopment potential. Ultimately, we want to be able to position Wayne County to be able to leverage federal financing and additional funds.
One question I had is noticing how many out of the state firms are being involved with this. And did we make any effort to reach out to anyone in the state of Michigan or in the county even?
We did issue a RFP, and this was really the only response that we received. In the subcontractor form, you do see that HRNA advisor, do have a few local firms for us, the subcontractors as well. But based upon my research, this is kind of like a specialized field as well.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners have any questions? Yes, Commissioner Peterson Mayberry.
Thank you through the chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for lifting that up because we talked extensively in committee yesterday about local vendors and that whole process and what that looks like. I do have two questions for you. One is the position of managing the project and the grant. I know it was recognized as we do that in-house. So how long has that position been open and what's the plans to fill it? Because it mentioned about a position that has not been filled and the grade's been managed by you. And I don't know if the bandwidth of you managing this grant in addition to everything else that you're doing. So is there a desire to fill the position and how long has the position been open?
Yeah, good question. Thank you. It's one of those things where, again, we applied for this grant, probably a year and a half ago, and that was the initial thought, right, to be able to have a consultant. So we were able to actually last week we met with our HRNA advisors to see if they have some recommendations as well. But again, that is still the hope. Again, the grant is $900,000 and $500,000. The agreement you have before you is $840,000. So again, we do have some capacity there to bring on an extra body if need to be.
Okay, so I'm not sure how we're marketing or promoting to get that position filled, but we can talk later. I'd be interested to know what we're doing to fill that position. And then the final question was, I know that there were costs associated, it's like $7,500 associated with like travel and food and things of that nature. Can you just at a later date prepare just something so I can see the breakdown of that? Is item actually question maybe number 5 on the fiscal report?
Yeah.
About in Appendix B?
Yes, so
Okay.
$7,500 basically. And again, that's pretty much right now is a budget, right? It could be less based upon travel, based upon our request for presentations, et cetera. But that was just budgeted based upon the RFP.
Okay.
The 7,500.
Okay.
So-
Thank you, Mr.
So these are expenses that would be borne by the county to pay for their transportation
The grant.
Pardon me?
The grant.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yes, the grant will provide obviously travel to present.
Right, okay.
I'm sorry, I did have one more question.
Yes.
Sorry, one more question. The public input opportunities, so there was an amount allocated like $56,000 for that. And so I just wanted to know what that looked like. Was that wages or how many public community meetings were had? Because it's 2 months worth of it. So what's the frequency of the meetings? That amount kind of shocked me a little bit for public community meetings.
Yeah, I will tell you, like you say, the RFP was based upon the response. The bid was based upon the RFP. We did do some follow-up with the Department of Transportation, and the focus will only really be focused on county-owned property. So again, as we initially did the RFP, we were hoping and thinking that we can do other communities, right? But the grant is specifically for county-owned property. So again, that may not necessarily occur, but the county would kind of dictate that
Okay,
as well.
thank you.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chair,
Yes. Commissioner McCormick.
thank you. The properties that we own, how many is it? I was just trying to recall.
Yeah, that's a good question too, because it depends on who you ask, right? We do have several documents that our team is currently compiling. I would say roughly, over 180, right? Again, so we're getting data far as from our land bank, we're getting data far as county-owned properties as well. So I don't want to give you a hardcore number because again, that's subject to kind of change.
Yeah, because I recall we had a list at some point, maybe a couple years ago. We were kind of doing an assessment at that time. And I just didn't know if you had an official number at hand. So if you can, when you have that number, I think we would all be interested in knowing officially how many properties we have.
There was a list that was created.
Yeah,
That there was
remember
a
that.
special building committee that was
Mhm.
created. So and so facilities was the source of that list being generated. So definitely uh start in-house, so you can build from there. Yeah.
Yeah, and certainly from this grant, we should be able to get that information as well. So again, not only from facilities, but also our land bank to really get
Right.
a full picture.
Yeah.
As soon as you have that updated, would you provide, there's someone from your office, I think back here is, she's asking to.
Okay.
Please identify yourself for the record.
Good morning, Erin Kelly, Director of Sustainability and Innovation. Uh, We have been working with facilities, with DPS, with several county departments and divisions to develop a tool that shares information on all of the county-owned properties. We actually shared a link with the tool in some of the questions related to another agenda item we have this morning. But we can ensure that in response to this meeting, Lucius is equipped to share with you all that link again to continue this conversation.
Okay.
And
Thank
so for this project, how many, I see there's various vendors that we have or that we're partnering with. Do you know how many bodies that would take to do this project?
Yeah, we should have someone, a representative as well from HR and advisors online. If Sharon or Stan is virtual joining.
Yes, good morning. Hello, I'm Sharon Carney. I'm a principal with HRNA Advisors, and I'll be overseeing this work. The team, the core team at HRNA would include 4 people. That is the partner in charge, Stan Wall, myself, a deputy project manager, and an analyst. From the subcontracting firms, I expect 1 to 2 people per firm. But not all would be involved in the assessment of properties. They all have different roles to play. So Woods and Watts, for example, would be the lead for any public engagement, while Center for Community Progress would be supporting the asset scan and assessment of assets that exist.
Okay. And when you say, I'm sorry, we didn't get your name and title.
My name is Sharon Carney. I'm a principal with HRNA Advisors.
Thank you. When you assess the locations, are you also assessing the value, the value of the properties?
That's correct. It's a phased
Yeah.
evaluation. So we start with taking into account everything that the county owns. And so to the extent that there are questions about what the county owns, we can do some validation with different data sources. From there, we build a model to assess the buildability of parcels and sort of narrow down a short list. But as we sort of filter those list of assets, we will take into account property value as well as what the redevelopment potential may be.
Okay, as well as I think you mentioned that inventory
Yes, so the
assessment as well.
inventory,
Okay.
exactly. That would be the inventory of assets.
Will there be priorities then assigned to those different properties, priorities of the amount of effort that's going into getting those developed and maybe sold?
And that will be
Exactly.
part of the evaluation process.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay. Commissioner Kinlock.
I heard you mention community engagement. What does that look like when you say community engagement as we're assessing, county-owned real estate? What do you expect to receive from the community as relates to the various, I guess, properties that's owned by the county? Is there a
So-
plan that'll be presented to them? So how will you engage the community, or what you're looking to gain from the community's input?
So typically what we do is work with the county or whichever local government we're working with to really understand how they typically approach community engagement. In the course of this project, we would design that plan based on the assets that sort of rise to the top as priorities. So it wouldn't be engagement around a full set of county-owned assets, but the handful of properties that seem to be like viable opportunities for either revenue generation or redevelopment. But it would be very tailored to those parcels, the surrounding communities, and the county's objectives.
Okay, so report out and reporting back to this committee and to the commission as it relates to some of those ideas. Will you make sure that we're on the loop on the front end of any potential discussions as it relates to the potential utilization of those parcels or properties or whatever? Yes. Properties, I should say. Thank you.
Well, when do you
Absolutely.
anticipate having that updated list of the properties?
We currently have a list of properties we've been evaluating for climate risk and for energy and water efficiency purposes. And so we will share that link again so that you all can review at your convenience.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Any other questions by members of the commission? Commissioner
Yes, thank
Baker
you
McCormick.
for recognizing me again. Community meetings, when you plan these events, if you can make sure that we're notified of that. I think you briefly talked about what that looks like, but when you plan it, if you can let us know. And in addition, is there a way when you break down the list of inventory, or not inventory, but properties, that we can determine where they are in relation to our districts?
Yes,
In that list.
absolutely. We have it available as a map. And so in the map, you can just
Pinpoint it.
activate
Great.
the council, the commission district that you're interested in, and there's a few other data points in there as well. Mhm.
All right, thank you. Any other questions by commission members? Seeing none. All right, thank you both for being here. Oh, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Yeah,
Support.
so we have a motion to approve and support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, items approved. Thank you both. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item 2, requesting commission approval of the reappointment of Harold Nemo to the Wayne County Housing Commission Board of Directors.
Move approval.
She's here. Would you like to come up and join us? Thank you for being here today and welcoming you back. You're welcome.
And thank you for finding my badge, which I lost on the street, and Commissioner Anderson found it and
Wow.
tracked me down. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It was flipped over, and then when I flipped it over, I mean, it was upside down, and then I flipped it over and I saw who it was. I said, well,
Russian.
I know who she is.
Yeah.
So glad I was able to get it back to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Please identify yourself for the record.
Yes, my name is Harold Nemo. I am the Chief of Operations with our Department of Juvenile and Youth Services, and I also serve on the Wayne County Housing Commission, and for the past year with our wonderful chair here, Commissioner Kinglock.
So you're asking to be reappointed, and we have a motion, I think, from Commissioner Kinlock already. Any questions by members? Seeing none. All those we have a motion. We have a second. Okay. All right. Pardon? Okay. Good. We've got plenty of support for it. So all those in favor for the reappointment?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Anyone opposed? Seeing none? Welcome again.
Thank you.
Continue.
Have a
Thank you
great
for your
one.
service. Yeah. Thank you. Madam Clerk, next item.
Item 3, requesting commission approval of a 2-year professional services agreement with the 1-year option to renew with Bureau Veritas Technical Assessments LLC to provide consultation for county facility assessments and energy audit to support the initial planning and development of the Wayne County Resilient Facilities Action Plan.
Who's here on that item? Please identify yourself again, and Mr. Cartwright also.
Good morning, Erin Kelly, Director of Sustainability and Innovation.
Anthony Cartwright, Director of Economic Development.
I think we had some confusion over this issue about being on the agenda. And I wanted to ask if I could, Pam, if you would explain. I understand it was expected to be, and the notice went out that it was going to be on the agenda to be voted on today. And Pam, would you tell us a little bit about circumstances, what we ran into here?
Pamela Fordham, Director of Policy Research and Analysis. So this item was initially submitted to the commission on January 27th.
Is your microphone on?
January 27th. We returned it to draft on March 25th to correct some errors to the funding source and the subcontractor information. The contract was resubmitted to the commission's queue on April 3rd. We put it on the agenda. I was told after the agenda went out that the item was removed from our queue, which is an absolute no-no. Everybody knows that it is imperative that once an item is submitted to the commission, no one takes that item out of the commission queue. Commission returns it to draft if there are any issues or if a department requests that it be returned. So the item was taken from our queue without our knowledge. That's why it's on your agenda. And there's no action for you to take because we don't actually have the item.
Yeah, it causes a great deal of confusion and I think and there's a process to follow. So that's
Confusion and double work for staff.
right.
Because now we've looked at it, have it on the agenda, it went back to draft. We'll have to look at it again when it's resubmitted.
Mhm. Well, thank you for explaining that. Well, I would entertain a motion to pass.
No, there's nothing for, we don't have it. There's nothing for you to pass because we don't have it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, next item.
If I may,
Would you,
I wanted to offer a sincere apology. We made an error on our part. I've taken action to ensure that everyone on my team understands the county's requirements and procedures related to our contracts. We reviewed all of the training materials again together yesterday, and I apologize for the situation that I created.
okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering from the clerk, we should be passing this for the day or not passing it for the day since it's not on the agenda. Technically, it's not on. No action. Okay. Would you want to hold it till it comes back?
Well,
Because we're not going to vote on it today.
yeah, no, I just have a lot of questions, but I'll just
Nothing to discuss.
submit the questions before
Okay.
it comes back.
Okay, very good. All right. All right, next item. Thank you both. Thank you. Well,
F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
I have none. I don't think any of our staff has any, right? Okay. Next item.
G, public comments.
Are there anyone in the public that or in the audience that would like to speak on this or have a question about what we're doing? But if there's not, is there anyone online that's indicated they wanted to speak? Madam Clerk?
There's no one on Zoom indicating that they would like to speak.
Okay. You said none, right?
None.
Okay. Next item.
Adjournment.